Hey everyone, welcome to Tetsuo Tells a Story. I'm Tetsuo. So this is the beginning of a new Scary Stories series on the US states. So I'm starting off with Alabama and I'm ending with Wyoming. This was inspired by GhoulishGal. I do hope she comes back and completes her series. So if you're new to the channel, remember to like, subscribe, and share my channel with friends and family. Now, please enjoy this episode titled Double Dose of True Scary Stories from Alabama. Without further ado,
let us begin.
Story 1. I live in Alabama, in a rural yet woodsy neighborhood, in a small town. I was 17 at the time that this took place, which was about 2 years ago. I was at home one night bored, hanging out with my little brother, who was 14 at the time. We both enjoyed playing Pokémon Go. It was about midnight at the time, and we played for a couple of hours, geeking out, because we both used to play Pokemon on our Game Boys, and we loved it as kids. Around 2 or 3 a.m., we decided to play the game with the intent that it holds, and go walking around our neighborhood to search for Pokemon. After all, even though we saw some not so popular or great Pokemon, we wanted to go get them anyways, because we were bored. So, before I get into it, I just want to say that where we live is usually very quiet, peaceful neighborhood, without much ever going on. There might be the occasional neighbor walking their dog, or even neighbors yelling, but nothing to ever worry about. We headed out of our house and walked down the driveway, which is pretty long, about quarter mile, and then down the road. The neighborhood itself is like a giant U, and from the beginning to the farthest is about 5 miles total, just really spread out and simple. While walking, we were having the best of time, making small talk, and just feeling like rebels for leaving the house so late, especially when we were sheltered as kids. We both caught a lot of Pokemon, and reached about 3 miles into the backwoods of our neighborhood, when our enthusiasm for this hunting got boring, and we decided to head back home. On our way back, we felt completely safe, fearless even, just because of how we were, and that nothing could bother us in our little area. As usual, there were no cars whatsoever driving out that late. I don't know when, but when we were about a block away from home, that's when we see a car coming from the back of the neighborhood down the long road that stretches throughout. And we thought nothing of it. That is, until it reached us. It slowed down a lot, almost to the stopping point, about 2 feet behind us. We were just slowly walking along the side of the road when I realized that this was pretty strange, considering the circumstances, and I felt scared all of a sudden. They followed us about 50 feet, which might have been 2 to 3 minutes, when it whispered something to my brother. "What the heck, man? You understand how this looks, don't you?" I glanced over to my left. There was a house with a lot of trees surrounding the front lawn. We looked at each other, and we had the same idea. Right as we saw the trees, we had a click in each other's eyes, and we bolted up this hill and into the yard, and into the trees, blocking our view from the street. We always thought we were cool, and could be stealthy, or tactile even. But this situation showed us how vulnerable we were. When we reached a point that we knew they couldn't see us anymore, we went down to the ground on our stomachs. We watched the road from under and in between the trees and bushes. There, we watched as this car was dead stop in the middle of the road for a couple of minutes. What he, she, or they might have been doing or wanting was unknown, but we knew that they were definitely up to no good. From a dead stop, after they gave up visualizing the area, they skirted off a 0 to 60 in a few seconds, with the engine sounding like a muscle car and tires slightly squealing. Gone, just like that. My brother and I waited and laid there for what seemed like forever, because we were ways away from home, and this was whack. We had no idea what they wanted, or what could have happened if we just continued walking down the street and paid them no attention. Both of us were visually shook. We never said much of anything to each other during those moments either. I'm just glad that we were quick on our feet. When we did get up, we ran around the back of some houses, all the way to our house. We burst in the door, locked it, and turned off all the lights that may have been seen. We went straight to our room, and it happened to wake up my mom, who scolded us for going out so late and getting ourselves possibly abducted, or worse. We watched out from the front window from the house. We were expecting to see this same car again. And sure enough, we did. They passed in our front house 3 times until we never saw them again. And still to this day, I've never seen the same car. Call it luck, call it blessed, whatever. All I can tell for those who are listening is that we possibly made it away from a confused person seeing 2 kids out that late, walking the long road, and it piqued their curiosity. Or we escaped from a real threat or a true pervert who decided to follow 2 kids and drive away when they knew that they were busted or outplayed. After thinking it over, I'm determined they spotted and followed us to the deep heart of our neighborhood. It creeps me out to this day to think about it, even though nothing really happened. Please stay inside at night. Don't put yourself into a situation that could end up badly for yourself and others with you. Stay alert, watch your surrounding, and be safe, people. And to the person or persons following me, my little brother, in the dead of night for unknown reasons, let's not meet again. Story 2. My name is Brandon, and I live in Alabama. I'm 14, and this incident happened around 2008 or 2009. I'm not really quite sure. I was quite young then. During this period of my life, I lived with my grandparents. We were in the process of moving in, and we were doing chores around the yard, like cutting grass and cleaning up. There were a few people helping my grandparents out, so my brother and I played around in the street, and we explored the house. It wasn't a big house, but big enough for us. The house had a deck in the backyard. The backyard also had a deep and dark forest as the perimeter of the house. My brother and I were playing tic-tac-toe, and I just felt something was off about the woods. I felt like something was in there, watching us. I could hear the ruffling of leaves and branches breaking. 45 minutes later, we got hungry and thirsty, so we went inside, ate, drank, and later went back outside to play. By this time, I totally forgot about the strange feeling I felt from the forest. That is, until 10 minutes passed, and I heard the strange noises again, coming from the forest. I stopped playing and curiosity took over. I went to see what was in the forest, and I got pretty close to the wooden area and looked around to find the thing that was making all that ruckus. When I got close, the noise stopped and everything was dead silent. This spooked me, and I slowly walked back, still thinking about what happened because I was such a paranoid kid. The next day, there was only a little grass left to cover the house, and the sun was setting. I was having so much fun playing, I forgot to avoid the back of the house. I think my brother and our neighborhood friend, we were playing hide and seek. I ran to hide somewhere in the backyard, and that's when I felt the same feeling from the day before. I felt watched. I stood frozen in the middle of our backyard, gazing into the deep forest. I slowly walked towards the forest, and right then and there, this big animal that was on the ground on all fours. It looked something like a werewolf. It had clothes on, and its glowing yellow eyes pierced right into my soul. All I could do was yell for my grandpa, and that's when it started to snarl. The snarl broke whatever paralysis I felt, and I ran inside. I told my grandpa what I saw. Well, my grandpa, he didn't believe me, and just told me to stop playing around. For the rest of the day, I just sat in front of the house, thinking about what I just saw. I still don't know what it was, or if it's been there before I moved in. I swear to this day, I still hear things outside in the woods, and sometimes I still see those yellow eyes flickering in the total darkness. Thanks everyone for making it to the end of this episode. I look forward to seeing you all in the next one. Thanks.